Okay, Matt, I'm going to answer your fourth question, then probably take a break before I answer the other four. In 1968, when Lyndon Johnson announced he would not seek election and essentially paved the path to the White House for Richard Nixon, you were about 20. Yeah, I was 19 going on 20. But because of the voting age had not yet been reduced, you were not able to vote in the 68 general election. Was this a major point of frustration for youth of the 60s? In other words, how frustrating was it to be told you were old enough to possibly go to war but not to vote? Well, to be honest with you, this wasn't a new situation. I mean, my father had went through it. Of course, when he enlisted, he was 21 years old when he enlisted. So he was old enough to vote and to go to war. But, this is something that had been since, for over 100 some odd years. The thing was you had to be 21 and, a citizen, right? And, of course, if you were born in the United States, you were automatically a citizen, but you still had to, attain that majority of 21. It was something I think a lot of us didn't think about because, that's just the way it always been. I know for you, your generation, you can't fathom that because you've always had the ability to vote when you were 18. I just wish more of you voted. But, in my time, that was not something out of the ordinary. It was just something the way it was. I mean, that didn't stop us from participating. I mean, I participated in politics, helped candidates, went door to door, and all that other stuff. I mean, that didn't stop me from, participating in campaigns. But, it wasn't that frustrating because it was just, that's the way it was. The reason why they lowered the age is essentially we had to, embarrass the country into lowering the age because, that whole concept, old enough to fight and die but not old enough to vote, really came home during the Vietnam War because of the draft and all that other stuff. So essentially the amendment to the Constitution that changed the voting age to 18 was the result of a country being embarrassed by the shortcoming. Of course, back in those days, when I turned 18, I could drink beer, which is something you can't do now. So, I mean, we kind of come the other way is that you can vote and you can fight and die, but you can't drink a beer at 18. So anyway, which is ridiculous too. So that's about it on that. I mean, that's a pretty easy question. I mean, all my friends, none of us actually voiced any frustrations about not being able to vote because that's just the way it was. So anyway.